Welcome to this edition of Coming Home, Life After Semester at Sea. My name is Dee Colombini. I was one of the counselors on Voyage 134. With me today is ASL Interpreter Araya Williams, and today we will be talking with Pam Norris, Dean of Student Life on Voyage 134. If you're new to our series, Semester at Sea, or SAS as we sometimes call it, is a study abroad program that takes place over a semester. We are on a ship with students, faculty, and staff, and classes take place at sea and in ports as we travel around the world. On Voyage 134, we traveled to 10 different countries and we sailed from Europe to China. So the idea of this came about from realizing that readjusting to life can be quite a process after we get home. And it's been several months since Voyage 134. And so we decided that we would really love to talk about reentry with our fellow voyagers. Pam, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role as Dean at Semester at Sea.
Well, thank you, Dee. It's so great to see you again. My name is Pam Norris, and I had the absolute privilege of serving as Dean of Student Life on Voyage 134. And it was a plan that was in the making for a long time. I had applied back in 2019, and so to be able to finally make this dream come true was really fantastic. And because of COVID, my voyage kept getting pushed forward. And I actually think that now I believe it was sort of meant to be. Being a part of this particular dream team of deans was pretty fantastic, as being the first group of all women deans. And I honestly couldn't believe that that was true in 2024, but it turns out it was. And in addition to those two women that I had the chance to be on the dean's team with, we had a fantastic voyage team, from our faculty to our counselors, our health folks, to everyone that was on the group. So it really turned out to be the way that it was meant to be. My particular role really was to provide leadership and planning and development for the community on the ship. And so with over 400 students on the ship, obviously we have people coming from all over, different backgrounds, different ways of thinking, different, obviously, academic studies and interests. And my goal, along with many of our goals, was to create a community amongst our voyagers, and to challenge them, to support them, to assist them in certainly learning and growing and experiencing what we are experiencing, but also some of my, I don't know if it's right to say favorite memories, but life was still happening for people back at home. And so some of my really great memories was helping people along the way that had to think about what was happening back at home, whether it was the loss of a loved one or something that was going on that didn't allow them to fully be present on our voyage. And I was able to help do that with a lot of other folks, to help life be pretty real, both on and off the ship.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned that you really had to be a bridge support. So you had to be sometimes in many different roles for people on the ship and the students. And I don't think we could have had a better team of the dream team deans.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Great. The support, I think everybody on the ship felt that support.
Yeah. And, I think it's not magical. I know that sometimes we can equate that like, oh, it just came together. It was just the personality of the time. And maybe some of that happened, but it was actually a lot of work and a lot of very particular strategic thinking around what was going to be our the vibe, I guess, that we were going to be giving off on our voyage. And the vibe was community. And we wanted to do everything we could to show people love and care, challenge kindness, but also, really for me personally, my favorite port was the ship. And so I wanted to do everything that I could do to create a feeling of home, to the best of our ability, on the ship. And a lot of that just takes focus and thoughtfulness and care.
The care and the kindness certainly came through. It certainly came through. And you all made it look easy. Yes. What are some of the things that you miss the most?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. But I think when I really thought about this question and the most, um, it is the people I worked so closely with. I have tried to put this into words with some of my colleagues here at Colorado State University that want to hear more about the Voyage. And I've never worked on a team like the Voyage leadership team I was working on. And yes, they were all great people. And yes, they were at the top of their game. So extraordinarily professional and capable people. But I think for me, what I wasn't entirely prepared for and that I got was for 4 months, a group of people that were inspired and had a common goal and enjoyed one another's company. And I have been a part of a lot of teams. I've been a part of a lot of teams that I've really enjoyed, but nothing like this group. And I think it's just the fact that we're going around the world, we're always in exploratory mode. We're
Yes.
always anticipating what is going to be around the corner or in that storm or whatever. Like, that's not a normal feeling, right? And so you put all those people together that really are at the top of the game and they care and they're trying to create community and there's this anticipation of what's coming. I just woke up every day so excited to work with this group. And so when I got back, there was a huge kind of come down around that group will likely not ever be to not we'll be together again, I suppose, but not in the same way. And I had to kind of grieve that honestly. And I just find myself feeling so extraordinarily lucky to have been a part of it, the whole group of Voyagers, but especially that team.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a very, very special, unique moment in time. And it just sounds like you're just really going to cherish that. Like,
Yeah,
how special that is.
most of us work with folks that are inspiring and
Mhm.
love what they do. But probably we all also work with people who are like, it's a job.
Yeah.
I'm getting a
Yeah.
paycheck. I don't know. And so that's real, right? Like that's life. I didn't feel that way on semester at sea. So just for that 4 months, it was like, wow, this is the kind of feeling that is really uplifting and elevating for me personally.
Right. And I think it speaks to it takes a special wanting or desire and in order to kind of take the leap to go and do this kind of a thing. So everyone on your team made that decision. Like you said, you've been waiting a long time to take that leap and to do
Mhm.
something, so out of the comfort zone, right?
Huge.
So
Yes,
it
yes.
might take a special person to be on the
That's
leadership team of Semester at Sea.
that's true. It is true.
So can you tell us what some of your favorite memories were?
Yeah. Um, I feel like I need to write all of these down before because they do start to escape you a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
I have two that I was hoping to share. One is
Yes.
well, they're both personal, but one is super personal. Dee, as you know, we had many rough days at sea. And um, something that
Yes.
I found to be like a need that I have is I needed to move my body every day, or I just like physically didn't feel well. And so it happened to be a particularly early morning, and the seas were particularly rough. And I had set my alarm to go down to the workout facility, needed to get on that treadmill and walk. And I really didn't want to, but I pushed myself to do it. And so I'm, marching my happy self down there, holding on to both sides of the stairs, going down.
Mm.
I was on that treadmill. There was not another person in that room. So, for all you know, I'm making up the story, but I promise it's true. There just was no other witnesses to this. I'm on the treadmill and I have my audio book and I'm in a zone. And all of a sudden, I see now my birder people on the ship will not be proud of me. So I'm not sure what kind of birds they were, but let's go with seagulls. They look like seagulls.
Okay.
All these seagulls like around the back of the ship. And I thought this is a really strange thing because there are huge waves. So what are these seagulls doing?
Right.
And I keep looking, I keep looking. I actually had to slow down the treadmill because I didn't want to fall off. I started paying attention to something else. And all of a sudden, there were these dolphins that were jumping through the waves. I could not even begin to count how many there were, and the seagulls were right above them. And I honestly, I had to like look around, like, is anyone else seeing this? Right? Like, we would make announcements when there was a whale or a whatever, but it was like I couldn't get off the treadmill and go run and make this announcement because they'd be gone. So I just stopped and I just
Mm.
watched these schools of dolphins jumping so playfully through the waves. And it was just such a special moment for me because I feel like this whole voyage, it like expanded me, expanded my view, my understanding of people, the world. But like, quite honestly, I can't even begin to put words into how vast the ocean is. Like it's all these things that are living under the ocean, and we had time to think about it. And that particular moment, I was watching what felt like a very private moment for these dolphins, and I was getting to see it. It was a very spiritual moment, honestly. Um, and it was just a moving moment for me to realize, like, if I wouldn't have gotten myself up on that
Right.
really tough day, I wouldn't have gotten to see this. And it just, yeah, it was a precious moment for me.
Yeah. Wow. Just, those are like magical gifts.
Yeah,
It was
for
for
sure.
you,
It
that.
was, it felt, and it was gone within minutes, right? And then it was gone. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
did that just happen, right? That
Yeah.
just happened. Um, so that was a very personal moment and tearful, honestly, moment. The other one was also tearful, but for happy reasons. So I had the honor of getting to sail with my son, Grant, who is a senior at Colorado State University. And I mean, so precious as like a mom and a son getting the chance to 4 months together. He might not have thought every moment was precious, but right, like we got to see each other every day. We got to hear about each other's adventures, that sort of thing. But one day he asked me to go sit on the deck with him. And he had something he needed to talk to me about.
Hmm.
So, in the middle of the ocean on a beautifully sunny, hot day, he told me that he was going to ask his girlfriend to marry him. And he wanted, I guess, not my permission, but my support. He wanted to help me understand why her and why now. And it was such a special moment, Dee. It was just like,
Wow.
I'm in the middle, we're in the middle of an ocean, and I'm watching what always feels like my young child, who of course is an adult,
Mm.
um, tell me about how in love he is. And it was just so, it was so special. And that is a memory that will be etched in my mind forever.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Well, had no idea. Congratulations.
Oh, it happened. He bought the ring in India and he asked her to marry him in Thailand. So it all
Oh,
worked out. Yes.
wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So coming back, you alluded to it a little bit, but what were some of the struggles for you? And then what were some of the things you did to kind of manage?
Yeah. Well, I had left a child back here in college. Um, and I missed Carter like crazy. I was really more over ready to see my kiddo and my dad, my family. I have two dogs um, that I somehow live without for 4 months.
I remember
Um,
the dogs.
so yeah, so they haven't quite left my side. They're glued to me. But so I was ready to come home. I was ready to see the people that I love. And I had no idea how tired I was. And I think
Mm.
probably there's a lot of Voyagers who, at least I've heard people say this to me in a way of like, oh, I was just going, 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 going. And then all of a sudden I stopped and my body was like, oh my goodness,
Okay.
I'm going. So exhaustion was a real thing. And when I got home, it's like I had to sleep the exhaustion away and then I was tired. Like it was like a process of getting of this, just catching up on everything that had happened. And I think that was one of the biggest I don't know if it's struggle, but just like transition was like when I was used to a million things going on every day and researching and thinking about this port and anticipating 10 problems and everything's coming at you all the time for 4 months every day. And then
Hmm.
all of a sudden it was quiet. It was quiet and there weren't any problems. And the good people that I had left here at Colorado State University doing my work had done a fantastic job. So there wasn't anything undone. It was also winter break. Everyone else was taking a break. And I was like, huh, what do I do? What do we,
Yeah.
let's get busy. Let's do stuff. And so that like pushing pause and like getting into a mode that wasn't constantly going on all cylinders
Hmm.
took a lot. And
Hmm.
um, yeah, I think that intensity was, when you're in it, well, for me anyway, when I was in it, I didn't realize um, what it was going to be like to dial that down. And I have honestly struggled with that almost all of this spring semester. Because even on busy days in my real world, it it
Hmm.
it is not the same as what was happening on the ship. And I tend to think that also has to do with my view here is familiar. I've been in my job for a long time. I know all the people I work with. I go to the same building every day, right? Like there's a lot of similarities to what my day looks like versus on the ship, every day was different. And so it has taken a minute to figure out how to first dial down and then to take what I learned on the ship from that experience and build it into either a skill or into a mindset. Or some of them are going to be memories, like build them into memories. Um, and yeah, I think that it continues to be a bit of a shift.
Yeah. One thing you said that I hadn't thought about before was you said, you were exhausted. I had thought about coming home and just being so tired. It almost took me 2 weeks just to not feel like
Mhm.
falling asleep in the middle of events. And I just thought, oh, it's the time change. But I think you're naming something even more than that, just the exhaustion of going, going, going. And we loved it.
Mhm.
And then also to just come back and there's like you're going 100 miles an hour and then bam, stop, the bottom falls out. And
Mhm.
the flip is switched.
Yes.
And we're back to mm, maybe our normal, mundane lives
Yeah.
without the excitement of the magic moments.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so. And I think my son and I have had this conversation a lot where it's like, you come from a port, you're thinking about the port, then you start planning for the next port, and you're doing all these, and
Yes.
you got into that. I mean, it's kind of it's insane, right? It's insane to think about how many places we went to, how many
Yeah.
things we got to see, and what all the options were available to us. And that moment now where it's like, well, I'm gonna go to Denver, like I
Yeah.
I have a great life. Oh, I have a great life and I love my life. And this is life, right? But I
Hmm.
do think that semester at sea expanded for me, it expanded me. So now I can sit in the most mundane of places, often on I-25 in traffic or at a park or, something. And where my mind is going is expanded. And I think about the traffic in Accra or what I'm on I-25 in traffic, right? I think
Yes.
about the
Yes.
traffic in India and I think, I don't even like what I'm sitting in now on I-25 is like nothing compared to that. And I kind of giggle because I'm like, I've expanded even my opinion on traffic.
Perfect.
And so um, for that, I just feel like, I can be anywhere. I could be daydreaming, I could be talking to people, I could be doing whatever. And I have these flashes of people we've met, we got the chance to meet, or places we got to go, problems we got to help solve, and the expansiveness of those examples are tenfold to what my life used to be, right? 100-fold. And
I love
so for
that.
that, the struggles, right, have been real, but also good to
Mm.
work through, and meaningful work, I think.
I love that you now know how to expand every moment of your life. It's great. Brought your life into the
Oh,
expansion.
I tell you what. And my boss is on the spring voyage, so he'll be coming
Oh,
back in about a week. And so I haven't seen him for 9 months. Our voyages were back to back, but I really am looking forward to being able to support him in reentry, right? Because that's one of the things that I have really leaned on are the people here at CSU that have gone on semester at sea before. They, it just so happened the first day back at work, I pull into the parking lot and a car pulls up next to me. And who gets out of the car but one of the former assistant deans of student life on a voyage prior to mine? And his name is Mike Katz. And he said, "Is today your
sure.
first day back at work?" And I said, "Yeah, it sure is. I'm kind of getting my brain together over here." And he's like, "I'll walk in with you."
Oh,
And you know, walked in with me and we
yeah.
had this great laughter and not that I wasn't nervous. I was just like, it's my first day back. And he was happened to just be right there to say welcome and I know how it feels, kind of thing. So everyone here has been really great, I think, in wanting to process it and talk about it. So that's again, it's like a privileged thing to have CSU
Mm.
home base for a semester at sea and be able to have that kind of support system all around.
Yes, it's great. I feel that too. I
Yeah.
feel that too. Pam, it has been wonderful talking with you today.
Yeah, it's
I
great
wanted
to
to,
see you.
yeah, great to see you. I want to thank you very, very much. And I am going to wish you wonderful, expansive journeys.
Well, thanks, Dee. It's great to see you, and hopefully we can get together soon.
I hope so.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Take care.